Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Game Scrum. We're going to do our E3 recap, our E3 Bingo recap here. In case you're wondering, Brandon won E3 Bingo. So woot woot. He has bragging rights, but he's not here, so he loses them.
Haha. Can't ever be mentioned again until next year.
Yeah, Brandon's fired for a year. So Brandon had Halo 5 demoed single player at Microsoft's press conference, Star Fox announcement, his free space, Fallout 4 Q4 2015, which surprised me, and Gears of War Remastered, which is impressive because he called just the first game.
Yeah.
On there. How close did you guys get on your E3 bingo cards?
Kind of. I was. Brett counted it, but Final Fantasy VII Remastered release after conference, I'm not counting that. And then I'm not sure if it actually happened, but Xenoblade demo on the floor.
I don't think it was. I didn't see anything on it.
I couldn't find anything either, but they demoed it last year, so.
It was physically impossible for me to get a bingo after the Microsoft conference, so I was out early.
Yeah, I kind of got screwed over by... First of all, would you count Microsoft announces Battletoads?
I mean, it is in the Rare collection.
Yeah, that's what I was... Because it's the Rare collection.
I mean, they technically did... They technically didn't announce it. Did they say it?
I mean, they never mentioned the word Battletoads.
Okay, how picky are you guys going to get?
I mean, that's a pretty vague announced Battletoads.
Yeah. How lenient do you want us to get?
Huh?
How lenient do you want us to get?
I mean, honestly,
if
there was a Battletoads game made.
If I'm going to count the new Banjo-Kazooie, I think I'm going to count the Battletoads. But, whatever.
All right, so it's 2 to 1 then.
I'm okay with counting it. It's just...
All right, so that aside, The Last Guardian being shown first at Sony's screwed over that row because Call of Duty was the first game that was going to be shown at Sony's press conference, but it was actually Last Guardian, so those two spaces screwed me over in that row. Otherwise, I would have had bingo with Project Horizon, Free Space, and Battletoads.
I'm pretty happy with my PS View opens to additional cities.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not the right cities, but...
Called a Vita price drop. I don't think Vita was mentioned once during the conference, was it?
It had a montage.
They had a montage.
Yes. I do enjoy your Microsoft and Sony price drop. Vague statement that's somehow true.
Sony price cut only if Microsoft price cut, so it's passive aggressive. I mean, Microsoft did not announce any price cut. They announced, though, I think the new 1 terabyte, and they're gonna clearance out the old ones or something.
Yeah,
I wish I had a terabyte drive.
It'd be nice.
And Sony came out and announced they're not gonna do a terabyte, but then apparently the Metal Gear one is a.
But you can replace the hard drive in Sony's.
Yes.
I think you can in the Xbox, can't you?
You can do USB.
External, yeah.
External, not internal. Okay. But either way, I think the Metal Gear Solid one is going to have a terabyte or so. The rumors are it's going to have a terabyte hard drive on there. So,
Aisha Tyler did not say the word boner. I listened very intently. She did not. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, I was very disappointed in that one, and then I was very disappointed Ubisoft also did not announce Far Cry 4 Blood Dragon 2 as DLC. That was a bummer. I mean, I am glad that Fallout 4 released Q4 2016 was wrong. And it was actually this year.
So if you want, why don't we go around and each of us say what our biggest miss was and our best call.
Okay.
So Rankin, what would you say your biggest miss was?
Mr. Caffeine presenting at Sony.
You had that one guy that was really, really hyperactive at Sony's.
Wasn't he EA or...
He was at Ubisoft, I think.
Ubisoft, yeah. And then they got Aisha Tyler.
No, that would have been impressive if it was Mr. Caffeine at Sony's press conference like you accidentally called.
I think my biggest miss was Sony Last Guardian no-show. They opened the entire press conference with Last Guardian, so that's a pretty big miscall.
Yeah, I don't know which one's going to be my biggest miss, because there's quite a few on here that are just after this E3 are kind of way out there, but I think the biggest one might be Sony to announce a Breaking Bad video game is probably the biggest miss, or I'm with you with the Last Guardian no-show.
I mean, I'm glad that was a miss. The game looks interesting, and it's been a while since I played Ico and Shadow, but yeah, it was a pretty big miss on my part.
Yes.
I also put way too much stock into VR. I had Project Morpheus demo. I had HoloLens demo.
There was
Actually, I had a HoloLens trailer, which I think did happen. But
Well, they showed an actual gameplay of HoloLens.
Yeah.
I'm a little upset with my Silent Hills Uncancelled 1.
yeah, that would have been nice.
I mean, that's a pretty big miss, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of big misses. I mean, there was no Kingdom Hearts release date, but there was a Kingdom Hearts 3 gameplay trailer that was
huge.
phenomenal.
Was that one of your hits?
Huh?
Is that the one you got right?
No, I had the release date Q4 2015, but
That's nowhere.
yeah, it's not there.
Yeah.
A lot less release dates than I thought. I thought we'd get a No Man's Sky release date. I thought we'd get a Fable Legends release date.
They were actually going to go to No Man's Sky, but they had to withdraw it at last minute.
Did they?
Why?
Yeah. I don't know why. He was commenting behind the scenes.
Yeah, I was going to say, because he just went on stage and he said, and we'll tell you soon.
Yeah.
I think they were planning on telling it at E3.
Yeah. All right, so what would you say is your, what is it? Would you say like your proudest one that you got?
Yeah. Biggest call.
Biggest call?
It's more accidental gameplay of new Zelda game. I mean, it technically was right because there was a new Zelda game with gameplay shown, so it just wasn't the one I was expecting.
Yeah.
Mine was probably at least one pro athlete will do a testimonial at the EA press conference. For any of you that watched that, it was Pele, and it was boring.
I'm not all that proud of that, though.
I mean, it was one of those. It was just like I was pretty sure it was going to happen. It did happen, and everyone's bashing EA for it because they're just like, we don't. Yeah, Pele was awesome 40 years ago.
So what is it, like 100 now?
I don't know, but it's just like who. I'm sure our European viewers are wanting to kill me right now, but since we don't have any, I don't care.
Actually, we apparently have a lot of UK viewers.
Oh, do we? Oh, fantastic.
According to Steve, he watches all the analytics of this.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, alright. Mine is probably Guerrilla Games' Project Horizon was shown at Sony's press conference. That one blew me away. So I've been hearing about robot dinosaurs, Witcher 3.
That was one of the big surprises that everyone came away with, is being awesome. So
Yeah. That one was really good because I think they even hired some Witcher 3 and BioWare people to make that game, and it just completely opposite of Killzone in every aspect. And then when she
Killzone's horrible.
Killzone's not horrible. I love Killzone, but
Play the multiplayer. The story mode is horrible.
yeah, the multiplayer is amazing. The story mode, it depends on the game, right? Like Killzone 2 story is awesome, but
it's like people that play Halo for the single player. Oh wait, that's me. A whole shelf of Halo stuff right here.
There you go. But yeah, like when she ran under the dinosaur and just shot him in the crotch, basically, it was just, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a game on my radar now.
Definitely. But yep, let's see.
I have to say, like, the free square is probably, I guess, the proudest that I have.
The
Good job, buddy.
Well, you can probably say that about Brandon. He had free, but he spelled the free FRE3. So that is adorable.
So what did Brandon win on?
Yeah, I announced it earlier. So it was like the Halo 5, Star Fox, Free Space, Fallout 4, and Gears of War Remastered.
Okay.
But he almost had double, triple bingos here. He kind of got screwed over by Microsoft's streaming service, which never was announced. But he also flipped two of these. So he had PS4 will announce backwards compatibility, while Call of Duty will be shown at Microsoft's press conference. We just flipped those two.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, if it was just, was it Microsoft backwards compatibility, Call of Duty at Sony, you almost had another bingo there.
What are these two questions right here?
So it looks like Brandon has 3-4 question marks. I guess we can go through these really quick and see if we're going to prove them or not. Story mode in Minecraft. No.
That was not announced.
New Smash Brothers DLC fighting characters.
They announced that before E3.
Yeah, I think he mentioned that too. I think he said it doesn't count.
Yeah, they didn't have any announced during the press conference. I don't think the Treehouse had any either.
Yeah. Halo 5 dedicated servers. I talked to him about this. They announced that way before E3, months ago.
Yeah. It's their biggest IP. I don't know why they wouldn't.
And then Street Fighter 5 demo at Sony's press conference. Didn't they show that? Or did I dream that?
It was not a demo.
I mean, technically it showed gameplay in it.
That's not a demo, though.
He didn't specify live demo, though.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. He wouldn't have got that anyway. Although a new Square ID or IP, wasn't there a new Square IP? Or am I thinking of EA?
I Well, I don't know if it was new.
Kingdom Hearts. That's not IP.
That's
I mean, there was.
Might as well be. We haven't had a numbered Kingdom Hearts in a generation.
I mean, a decade.
In a generation.
He's talking about
the PS3 didn't have.
the console version.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, it's raining so much we're getting a flood warning.
Flash flood.
And we're in a basement. Yay!
That's the place you want to be, everyone. All right. All right, cool. So I think that wraps up the bingo part. I mean, I think I'd like to go around and see, like, what was everybody's favorite and most disappointing moment of E3. I think this E3 is probably the best E3 I've personally, like, watched or anything.
I like to start with disappointing just because that's kind of where I like to dwell. We're sorry.
It's gone now.
It's all right. It's a Windows phone.
All right.
It's a Nokia. It's indestructible.
Windows Phone, which, by the way, what was it? It's not going to be on Windows Phone. Was it Fallout Shelter?
Yeah, Fallout Shelter.
It might, though. For Windows Phone 10, they've got an app that will port iOS and Android games up to the Windows platform. So I could be starting to steal all of your apps.
Wishful thinking. But, so my most disappointing moment was soon recovered. Actually, it's two. The first one was the Final Fantasy troll with World of Final Fantasy. They're talking about Final Fantasy series that you love, and then they show that. I about wanted to cry, and then redeemed soon after, which will make one of my highlights, high points. But then the second low point for me would have been the same thing for Kingdom Hearts, where they showed the was it the tablet game coming to America? Kingdom Hearts.
I missed Square Enix press conference. I just saw the highlights of it.
It's basically Kingdom Hearts Key, and it's
apparently it wasn't a highlight.
It was. They were talking about, and we've got a project with Disney we'd like to show you, and everyone starts freaking out, and they show this mobile game. Everyone's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, I don't know why Square Enix loves to troll. Like that's what they do now.
But it was totally redeemed. Each of those.
Yeah. More power to them. It's pretty hilarious, but I just people are about to kill themselves, and they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, here you go."
You can actually hear a guy scream "Thank you" at the end of it.
That's pretty awesome. So, what would you say is probably the best?
The opposite of those.
The redeeming parts.
Yeah, the Final Fantasy VII remaster would be one, and then Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer would be the second one. Yeah, granted though, Horizon, honestly, I think for any foreseeable future, I think that took the show.
Yeah, that one looks so good.
I mean, I think Fallout took the show, but Horizon was definitely the one that surprised the most people. That was one of my favorite moments, was seeing that game. I'm like, I really want this game. The other one that I really loved was, and a lot of people hated it, but the Nintendo press conference with all the Muppets. I love seeing Reggie Fils-Aimés. Nintendo 63! Nintendo 64! My Muppet body is ready. Oh, I lost it at that. I thought that was hilarious. Also found out during one of the interviews that Shigeru Miyamoto wears my watch, which I've been wearing this watch for 10 years. It's so I squid like a little girl.
Did you mention your most disappointing?
My most disappointing, EA's press conference had two that really got me down. I understand a lot of their revenue comes from their annualized sports games, the FIFA, the Madden, now it's Rory McIlroy's PGA. NBA.
Yeah, what happened to Tiger?
Gee, I wonder what did happen to Tiger that would cause him to fall out of favor.
Never mind.
And to be fair, Rory's a really good golfer. But the whole, every year they focus on sports, and they're the same games, more or less. Also, another thing that's not EA Sports, but EA's, let's talk about mobile. The Minions are coming to your iPhone. I don't have kids. I could not care less about this game, and they talked about it for like 10 minutes.
That was
but I like Minions.
That was a big cash grab.
Yeah, it's just Star Wars is coming to your mobile. I've got like 4 Star Wars games on my phone, and I've got a Windows phone, so you're not doing anything new. Yeah. All 7 of them.
All 7. But EA did announce Yarny, which did look pretty cool.
It looked neat. It was the presenter presented it weird. But
He was just nervous as hell. I mean, I can understand. I agree, he was a little weird, but you've been working on this pet project that you finally get to unveil in front of millions of people at E3. I would be probably more of a mess than he was. So
to be fair, I felt more, I guess, fewer questions with him than I did with.
Dreams.
Yes, thank you.
Dreams, oh my gosh.
My stream actually cut out during that. I was watching it on Twitch, and the stream cut out. I missed the whole thing. I don't care.
Don't worry.
I never even went back and looked.
You probably have less questions than we do.
Yes. Yeah. It made more sense when they said it's probably going to be a Project Morpheus title. Like, they didn't say that during the conference, but there was articles about it, rumors, and that makes more sense. But I'm still very confused by that concept. You make dreams and images. It almost looks like, I think Steve said, like a Windows Movie Maker-esque
Spider-Man,
Pixar,
the Spider-Man movie thing from
Spider-Man Cartoon Maker. It's
Yes.
kind of like that. If Pixar made it, it's that's kind of what it reminds me of. Just I'm so confused by that. I don't know how he was making things. If he was using a controller or like a Move 2.0 or something like that. But it was just crazy.
What about that testimonial from the Hoop God?
Oh, yeah.
I missed that.
That was EA.
Yeah, I
EA,
missed EA.
another one. They brought in some streamer.
They were showing
Twitch
how
guy,
you could scan your face and actually put it on a character.
Of what?
using your mobile phone.
You scan
Which,
your-
I mean, that's cool technology. I'd love to be in a game. Actually, I am in a game, but I backed Massive Chalice, and my name is in the game.
Oh.
Speaking of backing things, Kickstarter, Shenmue 3.
Shenmue 3.
Any of you back that?
Yeah,
I
it's,
haven't yet.
I think it's at it's getting it's like 3.6 million, I think, right now.
They
It's
just
all
announced
3.7.
new stretch goals that
You
go
won't hit all
up
of them.
through 11 million.
I'm surprised they're
They
about to
might.
hit 4 though.
They
still got-
might if they get some corporate sponsorship. I mean, I know Sony was backing them as well.
Yeah.
So
They've got 20 days still, but I mean, understandably, most of that's going to hit like the last couple days. It's going to slow down, maybe, but they're doing pretty darn good right now.
Shenmue was huge. It's two of the few Dreamcast games I really need to get that I don't have in my collection.
Yeah, I looked it up. It's like $70 each
Yeah,
copy.
they're really hard. They
Yeah.
had very limited runs in the US, but they are known to be very good. They're pretty much the precursors to Heavy Rain
Yeah.
and Beyond Two
Yeah,
Souls.
that's the reason I backed it. I've never played a Shenmue game, but I've heard so much about it and the games that were inspired by it. So for $29, I definitely backed that game.
They get to 10 million, then he said they would make it open world.
He said the open world he imagines.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means.
I also heard the thing he was thinking it's supposed to be 11 chapters. I don't know how many chapters are in 1 and 2, but he's like that could probably encompass 4 or 5 games. So
Yeah, that's
hey, cool. Pillars of Eternity is already getting a sequel. Broken Age was broken into 2 games. So there's definitely precedent for Kickstarters being very successful. And
Ukulele.
that finished during E3.
Yeah.
They hit 3 million, I think.
They
They hit their final stretch goal, which was
I
2
thought it was
million
2 million.
pounds. It was 2 million pounds. I don't know what that
which
translates
is like
to.
$2.3 million, I think.
I think it
I
was
think you're
close
thinking
to
of the
3.
euro or some other, because isn't a pound like $2.2?
We'll
Not
look it up.
quite, but well, I know. Okay, so 40 pounds is $63. Thank you, the Taken King. Yeah, we'll talk about that, I'm sure, in a bit. But 40 pounds is $63. So yeah, I think Nick's right. It's a little bit more.
So it's less than double now.
It's actually still accepting PayPal if you want to pledge.
We'll take your money.
I did back that. I'm a big fan of Rare's 64 games. Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Banjo-Kazooie 3, aka Donkey Kong 64. Because it's pretty much the same game. But they're all really good.
Yeah, speaking of Rare, I think the 2 moments that I think were the highlights for me were probably the Rare collection. When I saw that, I almost lost it. Wanted to play Battletoads and all the Banjos again. But I don't have an Xbox One, so I'm gonna have to buy one of those. And then Horizon, finally get to see what their vision of Horizon.
Horizon was definitely a high point for me.
I've been hearing rumors and leaked concepts forever, and just to actually see it become
gameplay.
what I thought it was in my head was amazing.
You were mentioning, too, that you were concerned with the RPG aspect of it.
Yeah, so when I saw the gameplay the first time, I was like, so this looks like Witcher, basically.
This is a good game.
Which is good, but it doesn't look like it has any RPG elements to it besides like switching out a bow or something. Interviews, people talking to them. Basically, that character was a level 12 character in the demo, and
Do we know what the cap is?
I have no idea what the cap is, but apparently there's a crafting system, an economy where you can sell your parts or you can craft to increase your character's level. You could also actually level by killing things. So it actually is basically like a dinosaur version, mech dinosaur, post-apocalyptic version of The Witcher.
You also mentioned that dinosaur was half health because he'd been attacked by some
Yeah,
guy.
so apparently I'm going to have to rewatch it to see if this is accurate, but I slightly remember there being spears in that dinosaur, and they were
There
saying,
are. I saw a rewind where there were spears along
Yeah.
the side of it. Now, whether that's something that just comes with the dinosaur, like as a model of something you can like swing off of on all of them.
No,
to
so
climb up,
someone
or-
was some interview. I don't remember what article was talking about how they saw that they basically talked to the developers and said actually that was actually half health mech dinosaur. He dynamically ran into another tribe and started attacking them before he was alerted by the other dinosaurs to come save them or whatever. However, he's supposed to watch the herd of dinosaurs. So you didn't even fight a full dinosaur in the demo.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited just to actually finally get to see that. I mean, that was my highlight. Fallout 4 is also another good one, but it's just I wasn't expecting Fallout 4 as much as I was Horizon.
I like the moment on No Man's Sky where he's showing the demo and he's like, let's go to a random planet. I really hope this works.
Yes. Well, I've zoomed out. I don't know how to get back, so I guess we'll just go to some random planet I've never been to. Hope it works. It worked flawlessly.
Yeah.
It worked great.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that it would just like break.
He showed off destructible environments on a planet that no one has been to. There's so much content in that game.
Planet EA. I think it's going to be a race to get to that
E3.
planet.
E3.
Or E3.
Planet EA, no one's gonna go there.
New corporate sponsorship. All planets are named EA and cost $1.99 to unlock.
Sorry, that's Bungie.
No, that's EA. Bungie is $40 to unlock. And if you pre-order the already sold-out collector's edition and physical bundle, you get special stuff.
And you get to buy a new one every year.
They have been trying to rectify that, though. So,
Not well.
I mean, $40 is a lot to ask for an expansion. The last $40 expansion I know of is Reaper of Souls, but that was totally worth it. Reaper of Souls for Diablo 3 completely changed the game, fixed it, made Diablo 3 what it was supposed to be, and is really fun.
Sorry.
So I haven't seen enough. I mean, I've seen a lot of Taken King. I've been doing a lot of research on it because I started playing Destiny again. I don't know if it'll be worth $40 to me as a consumer, but 3 new subclasses, whole new campaign, raids, it might be. So I'm just gonna. I'm tentative. I haven't pre-ordered it yet, but we'll see.
Nice.
I will get your review.
Wait for my review.
Wait for his review.
I'm trying to get you guys to play with me. I need people to play with.
If you get 3 more friends and we try to get that one trophy, I will try to platinum that game. I'm trying to think of most disappointed. Just Sony's announcers, like that pissed me
How many
off.
announcers?
Like Sean Layden, like I miss Jack Trenton. Is it Jack
Trenton.
Yeah, I miss
Where'd
him.
he go?
He left the company
Did he?
because he wasn't getting enough advancement, is my understanding. But
He was fun.
The president and CEO of Sony, the Australian guy, what's his name?
Australian guy.
He's
Andrew House?
Yeah.
He's European.
Okay. I can't tell.
Same thing. Racist.
Honestly, when he presents, he's honestly my favorite presenter right now that they have.
Mine's what's his name? Shudo. I just call him Yoshi, which is wrong. But the one he's the CEO of
Sony Entertainment.
Sony Entertainment, basic worldwide studios. He's like a true gamer. He's like I think he's platinumed like Demon Souls and like Bloodborne and all that.
Geez.
he's really into games, so it's really fun to hear him talk and his passion. So I like that. But like Sean Layden from the U.S. isn't very fun. They invited the most boring people from like EA, Activision, or wherever the hell they invited them from.
Who was that marketing guy they had?
And boys, he can be funny, but sometimes he says jokes that aren't funny.
Is he the
third-party relations for Sony?
Yeah.
Yes.
I loved it when they brought him out. I mean, it was very scripted.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. Like I liked him last year where he did the this is how you share your games.
Yeah, that was
or 2 years
really
ago
good.
or whatever it was. He's like done.
Oh gosh, when everyone was getting
But-
Microsoft for that.
But Microsoft really hit back this year with that whole you don't have to pay for the games you already own.
What do you mean?
So the backwards compatibility
They-
of 360,
yeah.
which
Yeah.
was a big announcement.
They made the comment, you shouldn't have to pay for the games that you already own, which
Yep.
was a...
But then they're like, but it's only got 18 games right now.
It's still in beta.
Yeah.
The fact that they're working on it, the fact that they have working prototypes means that this whole shelf up here gets to be played. Again,
Maybe.
if I want to. Allegedly.
Yeah, I mean, and that is cool, and that was one of the most shocking things, I think. I mean, Microsoft's press conference was phenomenal, but I think it was
Microsoft-
overshadowed a little bit.
I mean,
Microsoft was phenomenal for things that weren't the games.
The Rare collection was phenomenal.
That was I guess, the one thing that I was
Seeing
saying.
what was in it, you get Battletoads, Banjo-Kazooie 1 and 2,
And-
Jet Force
And
Gemini.
Nuts
Nuts and Bolts is in there
Yep.
too? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
and Bolts. Yep. Nuts and Bolts, Jet Force Gemini, all these.
For a bunch of games I already own, I'm really excited to play it.
But I mean, Microsoft had
Perfect Dark,
the
1 and
backwards
2.
compatibility, they had the HoloLens. You know, a lot of theirs was hardware hype, which is, it honestly looks awesome.
HoloLens look awesome. I'm just concerned about the field of vision. I don't see it as a gaming device. I see it as the future of, like, you know, Minority Report styled apps and everything you're going to be doing, multitasking throughout your day, like a Google Glass
CSI.
almost.
Of all
Yeah.
of the VR options out there with Oculus, Morpheus, and HoloLens, I think HoloLens probably has the greatest gaming application or the greatest gaming potential.
Mhm.
I mean, granted, a lot of people could have said about the Kinect, and look at where we are with that, but you know, it seems to be the most free form. You know, all you need, you could make a game where all you need is a table, or you could definitely use things like Nintendo's Amiibos to have pre-structured, pre-built things and setups. You know, you could really make your D&D game come alive.
Their biggest issue is going to be adaptability because the price point's just going to be so high.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be a really cool companion app device.
Yeah.
But I think
people have to
the
develop
Oculus...
for it,
Exactly. But the Oculus and the Morpheus, they actually are like games that will probably be better. Like, you're completely submerged in the game completely. But I don't think any of them are going to take off like that. I think HoloLens, companion apps, everyday apps, the future Minority Report CSI type crap.
I think it's going to be a gimmick until they make it required, like the Kinect.
Have you guys used Oculus before?
No.
No, I have. It's actually really immersive. Like the ones, it's really good when you don't move. So the demos you have, like where you're in the, you might have seen it. There's one where you're in a roller coaster and it like flies around through this village, and it's really cool. It's like you're looking around, you're seeing all these things, and you get a sense of vertigo sometimes. But the things like where you have to move, I had a friend who has a development kit, and he gave me Oblivion, which is one of my favorite games, Elder Scrolls 4. And it's a bit jarring to see yourself move, but not actually feel yourself move. So that's going to be something they're going to have to figure out how to easily move. And that's a
You're
problem
sitting
Kinect has right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still good. The problem is the way he had it mapped is, like, if something attacked me from behind, I would have to literally turn around to attack it. You know, and it's not very, like, in this chair, it's great, but the reticule was tied to my head, not the camera, because the reticule is the camera in the game. So you'll have to come up with a way to both aim and look at the same time. It's not very intuitive to have a gun. You're like, pew pew, pew pew pew, pew pew pew.
Well, the biggest, it's not necessarily it's not going to be cool. It's just going to be people aren't going to develop for it if it's not highly adoptable,
Yeah.
or if it's not highly there.
Yeah, or if it's like if they have a button that they press and all of a sudden like all the PS4 games or whatever games are on
You could do that.
Horizon with Morpheus, I would be blown away just walking around.
I'm really
exploring.
excited for Morpheus. The fact that it works with the Move stuff gives you that extra hands
Yeah.
automatically, whereas the Oculus has to use the Xbox One controller, which is a great controller. I do love the Xbox One controller, but the Move already, the PlayStation with Morpheus already having the Move controllers, I think is a great boon. Because you already have the equipment, you just need to buy the controllers.
Yeah. That's true. I would love if they said, like, every game now you could just easily port over to the Morpheus.
I mean, if you did FPS, if that was something that you could just, click on, that would be fantastic application.
I would love to just go into, like, Fallout 4 and just explore in a virtual reality like that. That would be amazing. Like a post-apocalypse like that. That would be so fun. Or the dinosaurs. I'm just looking up at the dinosaurs on Horizon. That would be ridiculous.
I would almost want some sort of invisible or camera mode if that was the case. Because I don't want to be like looking up at him and then it stomps me and I'm dead and I lose my view.
No Man's Sky would be what mine.
Yeah, No Man's Sky. Yeah, that would be another good one.
I would really give a sense of adventure.
Yeah.
Exploration. What about next year? What are you guys looking for next year, E3? It's not too early.
I have so much.
This E3... Oh, you mean like what games?
Next year's E3.
Next year's E3. I mean, I'm so blown away about how good this... Like, every single press conference, except for maybe EA, was actually just amazing.
It was absolutely phenomenal. Next year, though, Square Enix is taking the show for me.
Yeah, if they
Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy VII.
I know. I have a fairly good certainty that Final Fantasy 15 is going to come out.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts is a bit iffy, but I still think it's going to come out.
I mean, they announced it last year.
Yeah.
At E3. And then they showed a trailer this year.
Well, they announced it the year the PS4 was released, which was that like 2012, 2010?
2013.
2013. Was that really last year?
First of all, it's 2015.
What year is it?
What? Well,
Jurassic Park, Star Wars, Terminator. What year is it?
This is very true.
That all makes sense.
Clinton and Bush are fighting for the White House.
Oh, God.
That's true. So
Let's make it political.
I'm joking. Not.
So what would you say? What conference would you say won E3 in your eyes?
Yeah, no, I'm joking.
Get out. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. Some people really probably liked EA.
No.
I didn't.
I'm a little bit biased, but I think Sony had to take it for me.
Sony probably had the most surprises.
They had no announcements on dates. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But the new stuff.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
it's so much new.
It was that triple threat of these three games everybody thought were never going to come out with Last Guardian, Shenmue, Final Fantasy VII, and then top that off with the new IPs they're going to have. It's just like, whoa.
I don't really care about release dates all that much. It's what's upcoming that really gets me.
Well, things that were most impressive were slated for 2016, except for
and
Final Fantasy
Sony
VII.
said that.
Yeah.
They said going in that we have a weak 2015 lineup. And they had admitted that, and so I went in with kind of lowered expectations, being like, we'll kind of see what's out. And it was very entertaining.
Speaking of that, I was really upset they didn't show more Until Dawn, because that game looks amazing. And Until Dawn, it's like the Heavy Rain spiritual successor.
Every time you say that, I think Dying Light. I'm like, that game's already out.
No, Until Dawn, where it's like you're basically like Friday the 13th in a camp getting killed.
Is it Quantic Dreams?
No, it's actually it's the they're called Supermassive Games, I think.
Oh,
they've made nothing of note, but this game just looks phenomenal. It plays like Heavy Rain, like if you ever watch the gameplay or anything, and any of your characters can die. You can survive with all 8 at the end of the camping trip or cabin or whatever the hell it is, or you can survive with 0. It'll be the end of the game. So it just looks phenomenal. Plays exactly like Heavy Rain on this. So I was kind of mad they didn't show that, because that's outside of third parties and some remasters. That's all they have this year, and they could have hyped it up.
They didn't have Microsoft had Cuphead, didn't they?
That looks amazing.
They had Cuphead.
Was that Sony?
What did they show before
That's
Cuphead?
Microsoft.
Oh, it's Microsoft. Okay.
There's one about the blind girl. I thought that looked interesting.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, that looked good. It's funny because Microsoft did what Sony did last year.
Yes. Here's some really good third party, which I was surprised when Sony did it last year because Microsoft's really been big into XBLA. And I haven't been seeing a lot of the arcade games and the downloadable games because they don't really arcadey anymore. You've got, Cuphead, which is arcadey, but the blind. I really need to figure out what the name of that is. And then there was another thing they showed before that I also thought was pretty good looking.
I know Microsoft had a lot of games announced that I don't remember all of them.
Almost
Firewatch.
convinced you, didn't it?
Yeah, I almost went out and got an Xbox One as soon as they announced. Cuphead. I mean, if they had a bundle right now,
Is a huge
that was
thing.
Cuphead, Sunset Overdrive, and what's that game we were just talking about? That was really awesome. Rare Collection. I would probably go and buy it. And if they added trophies on
They
it,
had a rare
probably.
collection. Well, they got gamer score.
Yeah, but I wanted to link to my trophies. I want platinums.
Fable Legends is free to play and cross-platform. So Microsoft seems to be dipping their toe into cross-platform again.
That's good.
They did it before with
I'm-
Shadowrun Returns.
If they
No,
do
it's just called Shadowrun.
if they do cross-platform with Sony, I'd be even happier.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I know it won't, but it'd be so fantastic if they did.
I saw an idea online of an MMO where each there's a PC faction, a Microsoft faction, and a Sony faction, and it's just big cross-platform, which should be interesting.
Yeah.
PCMR.
Alright. So you're gonna say then Sony?
Yeah,
Sony
for
was the
me.
winner.
How about you?
I really liked Sony's was good. I would probably give the nod to Xbox just because the backwards compatibility was huge that not a lot of people had seen coming, and it shows that Microsoft is listening to people. They could recharge us for those games, but they're not, which is nice. What was that new one from Kenji Fune? Recore, that's it.
Which is Knack for the Xbox.
Knack for the Xbox,
That
but
said,
it's got
looked pretty cool.
the creator of Mega Man, Kenji Fune. I've got a whole Mega Man shelf here, as well as the developers of Metroid Prime. Not Retro Studios, but some of the people that worked on Metroid Prime, which was arguably the best GameCube game ever made. I would also say that Wind Waker and Resident Evil 4 would be on that list, but so those were big. The Rare collection was huge.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
There's so many games on there. Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Not only that, but they're good, amazing games. It's
And
not
they're
just
only
like
$30.
yeah, and then they
$1
top it
per
up
game.
$30. Yeah,
That was nice.
I don't even know if you can get nuts and bolts for $30 now.
I thought Bethesda had a really good conference. Unfortunately, I missed half of it. But I do play Elder Scrolls Online, and so seeing what's coming up was good. Bear mounts.
Yeah, the only bad thing about Bethesda was the Doom demo, which
Took forever.
was cool for the first 5 minutes, but for some reason, watching someone else play it for 30 minutes just got so boring. I bet if you were playing it like every first-person shooter, it'd be really fun.
I called it, though.
What was the
Doom
other
demo.
big one they had, though? Doom, and what was the other one?
Dishonored.
Dishonored 2 got
Yeah.
announced.
I don't think that was it.
They did announce it.
That was it. Dishonored 2, Fallout 4.
Fallout 4 was the one I'm thinking of.
Really?
Yeah.
You couldn't think of Fallout 4? I loved... the iOS app looks sweet.
I have
can
it.
get it. The gameplay looks good. What really excites me is the fact that you can now build your own things. That's a concept they started with Skyrim, where you would you would forge your iron into nails, and you could build a house. You could build several houses. I loved it.
Yeah, I like how it gets
They were-
SimCity now.
Yeah, it was preordained with the house. Like you could choose different sections, but they more or less looked, how you decorated and all was the same. But they've taken it to the next step with Fallout 4, and it's not everywhere. It's only in certain locations that you can do this. But theoretically, you could have several towns set up throughout the map around Boston. I think that would be awesome.
That looked really cool. How you can get like turrets and
Tower defense.
scrap metal and things. I can build things, and then you can build a generator, and that generator you can connect power lines and power things, so they're automatic. That was pretty cool.
And then at the end, when they lit up with the 8-bit Fallout guy,
Yes,
that was sweet.
that was pretty awesome.
I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
So overall winner, I would probably say Microsoft, with Bethesda close behind, and Sony not too far off that heels either. I really enjoyed Nintendo's. I thought it was entertaining. It just didn't have enough substance to it.
Yeah.
I can't argue on that one. That's pretty close to what I'd have to say as well. I just have to pick Sony, but
You would switch Sony and Microsoft?
Honestly, yours. I'm really indecisive on this one, to be honest.
It's a hard call.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that Microsoft had a very impressive conference to the point where I was like, I might go buy an Xbox One right now. I was very impressed. The only Debbie Downer part about it was when they had Henry Ford III come out to drop that car just to pick it back up and announce Forza, which they could have done that whole skit in 20 seconds, right? So
It was such a beautiful car.
I'm sorry, I didn't notice too much. It was hard to contain my erection when they dropped that car. I'm a Ford fan. I drive a Mustang, and the Ford GT is an amazing car.
yeah,
The only other prettier car is this new Corvette Stingray, which I love that car.
yeah. So, but outside of that,
Things I will never afford.
and then Sony started their conference, and Sean Layden stepped on the floor and made the most boring introduction to any press conference I've seen. So I was like, Microsoft won this.
Did you see one of the first years of the PS3 where they went in like, it was pretty much like a quarterly meeting where they like showed up how much money we're making. They had like uptick, like how.
No, I did not see that.
Oh, it was so bad. It was like a quarterly meeting with the executives. They had graphs and stuff of how much they're selling the PS3, and I'm just like, oh, this is not what you come to E3 for.
Yeah.
That was 7-8 years ago, but.
That intro to the Sony press conference reminded me of exactly what you're talking about, like that concept of like a very like corporate board meeting type of atmosphere, monotone. And then he's like, "Well, I'm just going to start this off with Last Guardian," and then from that point on, my jaw hit the floor and it never came back up. I was just like, oh my god, the whole time, just megaton after megaton. It's like Sony all of a sudden was like watching Microsoft's press conference. They had an idea. And they had a plan B, so they're like, okay. And they were taken by surprise by backwards compatibility, rare collection, everything. They announced all games, no celebrities. Like, oh, Microsoft bought it, so let's just release the nuclear arsenal right now. And they're just like announce. New IP, all this. And it's like,
just what Sony needs. They're kind of stagnant on the IPs. Microsoft as well needs some new IPs.
Yeah, and so like I love what Microsoft's doing this year with Phil Spencer, and they're kind of learning from how Sony recovered last generation.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing that same thing. He's like, Phil Spencer's come out and said, hey, I need to buy IPs. I can no longer just do exclusives and the short term. I need the long term. Yeah. He's like, we don't have an Uncharted. We need one. He's like, Naughty Dog is a special developer. We need a developer like Naughty Dog. And Sony right now, most of these teams that did good last gen, they're splitting into two teams and making two games every other year, every third year, or something like that. So
I think they're going to be ahead of the curve for a while, just from what they learned from the PS3. It's that third console curse.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sony's doing really well. Microsoft seems to be learning quickly, which is good. They're listening more.
Yes.
Microsoft listened really well when they announced the One. Everyone jumped down their throats, boycotted it. They removed the always online functionality, which was my biggest hang-up. I'm not going to buy a console. It's going to be a brick in 10 years. Mm-hmm. They removed the Kinect mandatory, which I think was a mistake, but I understand why they did it. And now they're adding backwards compatibility. So Microsoft...
They removed that too.
They removed DRM as well.
Yeah, and it all starts with Phil Spencer taking... I don't know if he's CEO,
he's doing a lot better than Don Maddox.
Yeah, as soon as they got rid of him and put Phil Spencer in charge, he completely changed that whole message and everything about it. He actually listens to what gamers want. I feel like he is actually a gamer for...
Well, he always wears his Battletoads and Rare shirts.
Yeah, but there's some corporate people who do that for show, and I feel like he's actually a gamer. Just like that whatever the guy from PlayStation is, the Yoshi guy. I call him Yoshi, but he's not Yoshi. But he's a gamer. He's platinum Bloodborne. He talks about games and trophies and everything. So Phil Spencer's kind of that equivalent for me when I watch Microsoft, and I really like that. So I wish Sony's press conference had like Phil Spencer doing it, the whole time. That probably would have been the ultimate press conference for me. But yeah, they kept announcing everything, and I just can't get over that. And so that was I think that took the show.
Yeah, honestly, I think someone put it. I've heard so many people say this, but the true winners are the gamers this year.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that.
No one lost on this one.
Yeah,
except for EA.
Yeah. Yarny's good. If you really love Yarny,
if you like sports, okay. Sorry.
If you like sports and Yarny,
if you like sports games.
Okay, Mirror's Edge 2 looks good. I am going to say that. Mirror's Edge 2 does look, the Catalyst, I think is what, Mirror's Edge Catalyst. It's not Mirror's Edge 2.
It looks neat, yeah.
It does look good. The battle, I don't know, I did play SWTOR for a while. The new expansion looks decent. At least the trailer seems new. They've gotten off the Revan plot now. And then everyone was talking about Star Wars Battlefront.
That does look
and
amazing.
We haven't talked about Battlefront. We haven't talked about For Honor.
Completely forgot about Battlefront, to be honest.
Yeah, and that was a lot of game of show for people.
It was
too.
a lot of people's game of show, which surprised me. When that was announced, a lot of people were freaking out because it was awesome last year. And then when they started announcing details, a lot of the gamer community got really upset. I think there's only like 4 maps. There's no space combat maps. There's only like 4 hero people. It's like Boba Fett, Vader, Luke, and Han, I think, are the only hero characters in the game.
Yeah.
I think there's 4 maps with a 5th if you pre-order. So a lot of people were pretty pissed because Battlefront 2 had a good, the Galactic Conquest. It had like 10, 15 maps, tons of heroes, that Tatooine level where you can play all the heroes. It was sweet. The new one looks really good. The graphics are amazing. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm just concerned about the content. So I am withholding my judgment until the game launches to see what they're going to do with content.
To be fair, DICE is a pretty good studio, though.
DICE is a fantastic studio, and the maps are going to be 4 to 5 times larger than the Battlefront maps. Battlefield 2 maps.
They got Hoth, so that's one major plus. You can't have a Star Wars game without Hoth.
You can't have a Star Wars battle game without Hoth. I think Rogue Squadron 1, 2, and 3 all had Hoth levels.
Yeah. So maybe you two could answer this. Is there a single player with it, or is it just multiplayer that they've announced so far?
I don't know.
Okay, that concerns me.
I kind of get the impression that Disney bought the Star Wars license, realized they had the IP to Battlefront, which gamers have been asking for a generation. The last one was on the Xbox and PS2, and now they just said, hey, make this and have it out in 3 years. And DICE likes to take their time. They've got a really good Frostbite 2 engine. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. And it's that and the Unreal Engine seem to be the 2 engines of choice in this generation, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, UDK 4, I've looked at it briefly, and it's pretty easy to use, pretty solid, good graphics. Yeah. So it's a best overall, or a good overall, and it's free.
But it seems like they're shipping it before they have enough time to come up with enough content for it, and I think the gamer community is going to bash them.
That's a lot more people are doing that now, though.
Yeah. People are
Destiny.
People are bashing Shenmue 3 because it's getting funded and being made. But
people were bashing it because it was requesting that gamers fund it, but demoed at the Sony conference. So they were.
That's how Kickstarter works, though. You can't come I have seen Kickstarters that are like Massive Chalice was actually one of this, where hey, I've got an idea, fund me, and because Massive Chalice was made by Double Fine, which has Tim Schafer's backing, they got a lot of money, and it was made, and the game's actually pretty good. But most of the time, if people come with a concept of a game, it won't go anywhere. You have to have something to show for it.
Yep.
And there have been several Kickstarters, high profile, that haven't made it because they don't have anything to show yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's not like they're on Kickstarter and all of a sudden everyone's going to start funding it. You need to kind of do word of mouth and You got to start with your friends or whoever you know and kind of build from there, snowball over 15 or 30 days. I mean, I don't understand the concept of being mad. I think it's just clickbait on articles, that a game you've been dreaming for 10 years is being made, and now you're complaining about it.
Well,
because of the way it was funded.
I think I said this a few game scrums ago, but developers who are well known, Rare, the ex-Rare people, you got Shenmue, which I don't know the guy's name.
I think his development studio is called YSNet.
The actual
YSNet.
guy, though.
YSNet.
But yeah. You get people like that
Double
on Kickstarter. You say that you're making a game, and people will get crazy to you.
But the nice thing about the bigger studios like that, or the bigger
Obsidian.
names, is they particularly have a tech demo or something. While most people on Kickstarter might have just a concept or
it's harder for a startup.
Very draft one type of thing.
It's harder for a startup, definitely, but I think you're going to have your best chance there. If you have, you're going to have something.
Yeah.
You can't just go into it without having, a stranger look at it and say, "Yeah, that looks a cool idea. I'll fund that."
Yeah.
You got to pitch it, and if companies aren't, Double Fine tried to pitch Double Fine Adventure, which ended up being Broken Age to a lot of people, and everyone's like, "No, that genre's dead. No one wants to play it." And then it got $3 million, 3.3, and they ran out of money. Broken Age ran out of money, and they ended up splitting it into 2 games. They're both out now, and I would highly recommend playing them because they're both very good. But that was one of the first high-profile games to do Kickstarter, and it almost failed.
So before we wrap up here, does anyone have any last thoughts on E3 or anything they want to discuss about E3 before we sign off?
I'm still looking forward to Division, which we haven't talked much about. Everything I've seen looks fun. Kind of skeptical. It gives me that Destiny vibe, where it looks awesome, this is going to be great, and then it doesn't deliver out of the gate. That being said, I'm still playing Destiny. I had it up right before we started this, so what does that say about me? And then the other one is For Honor. Looks awesome. We didn't talk about it much, but it says I'm a hypocrite. But For Honor looks good. I'm also excited about that.
All right. Rankin?
I don't think there is anything to say. It's all been said.
It's all been said. I'm just excited for Metal Gear Solid 5, Fault and Recovery Jeeps and turrets when I'm done with them, and then Horizon, so I'm looking forward to those.
Yay!
Woo woo! All right. Well, see ya.